In this video I'm going to show you how to make an easy and cheap modular pipe system suitable for like Warhammer 40k or Star Wars Legion. Let's crack on, I'll show you how I did it. Obviously you're going to need some pipes and some connectors. The bare minimum I think you need is the elbow joints at 90 degree and the T connectors. With that you can pretty much do most combinations out there. I got my pipes at 22mm from Screwfix from Flowplast in the UK. It cost maybe like £7 for the pipe, which was 3 meters in length, and just the two connectors that I said. Now there are other connections out there. You don't need them, but some of them are quite handy, so if you do see them, feel free to pick them up. Also keep in mind that you can use whatever size piping that you want. There are some bigger ones at like 40mm. If that's what you want to do, you could use that, but obviously you'll have a bigger footprint on the table. First thing I'm going to do is take off the mold lines and any kind of printed on text. So sometimes on these pipes you get like an imprint of text and it's physically 3D on the pipe connectors. I just take my knife and I scrape that off on all of the ones that I want to use. It's a little bit tedious, but it's not very difficult, but it's just something that I think does improve the overall aesthetic. Also take off any of the actual mold lines down the side. You'll often just see two straight lines. Just take a blade, make sure you're not cutting towards your fingers, and you know, you'll be done very soon. And just to add a little bit more detail, what I'm going to do is take a 2mm EVA sheet. I think this is literally like, one sheet is like 75p from Hobbycraft in the UK. And all I'm going to do is cut strips of these and wrap them around my pipe connections in different ways. Now the most common one that I do is literally a 1cm strip that I'm going to wrap around the ends of the connectors. The only difficult part is how long do you make that? Now you could measure out and figure it out with the circumference and stuff like that, but what I actually recommend is that you just cut 1cm strip, wrap it around your pipe, mark off with a pen where it looks like it's going to connect, cut that line, and just try to get it so that it perfectly like bumps up against each other without overlapping. Once you've got the one that wraps around perfectly, well now you know the length, so you can just use that as a template for the rest of them. So I cut out lots and lots of 1cm strips. I glued these strips onto the plastic just using super glue. I think that's probably the best glue. You could try hot glue or PVA, but I think you'd have a bit of a nightmare. Now I did do some bigger ones where it was maybe like 1.5cm and then 2cm. It's just up to you, do what you like. The only thing to note is if you're going to do a second layer of the EVA foam, keep in mind that the length now will be a little bit different because obviously you've increased the volume, basically you've increased the circumference that you need. So all you have to do is get a strip again, mark that off with a pen and cut it there, and you're golden pretty much. You can then use that as a template for your second layer, if you will. And you would have to do the same thing if you were going to do 3 layers. The designs are completely up to you. I did quite a few, mostly just ones at the end of various different sizes, but you know, you can do lines down the side, maybe over the top, whatever you please, whatever, it's completely up to you. You could, if you wanted, put on like rivets, but I just don't have the strength of mind to sit there and put loads of rivets on it, but feel free to do that if that's something you want to do. Once I was happy with all the connectors, I take a bit of filler that I've already mixed with some brown paint and I literally just fill in the little gaps between the EVA foam. It's not perfect, but it'll do quick and easy. And then all we're going to need to do then is cut our pipe. I'm just using this like hobby saw. Now the length of your pipe is completely up to you. I think I initially said I was going to do 22cm and then I was like, actually that's a little bit big, so I cut it down to 18cm. The one thing to note is that you're going to lose some of the pipe length by shoving it into the connectors. On this specific pipe it's about 2cm either end. Feel free to do different pipes and different lengths and stuff like that. Now I did buy these connectors here that look a little bit like a corrugated tube. What it actually is that it's a converter, I think. So one end is going to take a normal pipe and the other end I think would maybe like screw onto something. I don't know, I'm not a plumber, don't kill me. But what I actually did, I figured out that if I glue 2 of them together, then the pipe can go in both ends. So I do that, even though I actually didn't film it because I'm an idiot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint that up as like a generator, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. Now once you've got it all assembled the way that you like, I'm going to use this texture spray. Now this is a very, very fine texture spray. It's barely a texture at all, and I do really like it. In the UK, I'll leave links to Amazon, affiliate links, you can just check the description. In the US, I think Rust-Oleum do a version of it, like a very fine texture, but obviously I've not tried it. I've left a link of an Amazon affiliate, but just keep in mind that I've obviously not tried that. But that spray is very fine texture. I did dry brush a bit of white onto a black pipe that I sprayed, and just to show you that there is a bit of texture there, but it's very difficult to see. Now I want to make sure I avoid getting the spray on the ends of the pipes, because obviously I don't want to make it more difficult to get the pipe in and out of the connectors. So what I do is I make this like monstrosity of a chain of the pipes and the connectors together with everything as together as I could. I didn't quite get all the connectors in because I had more connectors than pipe, but it is what it is. And then I just spray it with this texture spray and try and put it aside so that it doesn't actually like lean on anything and stuff like that. It's very cool, very subtle texture, but I really like it. I did do a test to make sure that it actually worked on the pipe, like a primer, because obviously it's going onto a shiny plastic. I was a little bit worried. Mine seemed to work, but just keep in mind that yours might not. Once it had dried, I took out the pipes from the connectors and sprayed everything black, just so that if there was any time where you'd put in the pipe and you didn't quite shove it in fully, that a bit of the white wasn't showing. So I sprayed everything black basically, including the pipe connectors, just to cover any bits that I'd missed. Some of my pipes I'd inadvertently like left them drying together so that when you pulled them apart there's a bit of like texture where they'd stuck together. That's just an idiot. Just don't do that. For the paint scheme, I wanted the pipes to be brown with like a bit of metal on them, and the connectors to be silver with a bit of brown acting as like rust. So what I did was I took the pipes and I sprayed them brown. This is a fur brown from Army Painter, but you can use any brown. And then I basically took a sponge, dabbed on some silver, dabbed on some brown burnt umber, and then gave that a brown wash. I also then went in a little bit with a dry brush of silver, just had a bit of metallic feel to it. That was the pipes, very simple. For the connectors, I just went in over the black with a dark silver and then a lighter silver because I thought the dark silver was a bit too much. Then I sponged on a bit of brown, and I also sponged on it was a homemade mix of orange. I actually mixed like red, yellow and brown to try and get like an orangey colour and dabbed that on. I went for quite a rustic feel, but feel free to paint it any way you like, it's completely up to you. I did give that a brown wash as well, but I'm really happy with the aesthetic. For the little generator bits, I just painted that blue and then dry brushed it white in like a line at the top. Very simple to do. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with the results. Very cheap, very easy to do, and I think quite effective on the tabletop. And I do like trying to keep it modular if you don't have the space to have, big pipe systems set up in your house. Thank you to my Patreons and YouTube members. I do really appreciate your continued support. Thank you so much. If you like this video, do press like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.